possible to, or has anybody ever tried to come up with like some sort of bacteria or something that just has a freakishly large number of fake receptors, so just walk around and just suck up all the viruses and they just wouldn't do anything?
Yeah, I mean, or it doesn't even need to be a bacteria. I mean, we can make these, microscopic beads which are coated with a receptor. And then you could imagine, you could use them as some type of cream or something like that, and those would block transmission. In general, those types of approaches haven't worked. There's probably a lot of reasons why they haven't worked. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you could imagine you could imagine some type of bacteria or something that, perhaps interferes with HIV. I mean, certainly we know that different types of bacteria enhance HIV infection, but in general, it's going to be hard to engineer a bacteria. Then how do you deliver it to people? You could deliver it to yogurt, or you could deliver it to injection, or some kind of pill. But it's, and then you have to keep those bacteria alive, so really, you want something that's really going to be more permanent on top of the bacteria.
You talked about factors that were contributing to the spread and rise of HIV around the world, and you talked about a lot of different things. You didn't really mention anything about cultural factors. I know that what I learned in here about HIV was that there was a lot of myths going on, and also a lot of distrust of healthcare workers trying to do what they do, especially in Africa. Well, at least that's before I knew most about it. Is that kind of stuff going on, such as are there still a lot of myths surrounding HIV and kind of ways to cure it, or problems with treatment, or things like that?
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. I mean, I think that cultural factors play a big role. The most, I don't know that much about the cultural and anthropological factors that lead to the spread of HIV. Now, there was an issue recently, in northern Nigeria, where people were refusing to take the polio vaccine because they thought the polio vaccine was manufactured by the United States, and they thought that we were giving them some kind of virus that was going to harm them. That's not good, because we're trying to eradicate polio. We're so close to eradicating polio.
Is there more education? Do people understand more about how HIV is spread and that there's not a magical way to treat it?
I think so. I think it's just hard. Human behavior is difficult to change. People still have a lot of multiple concurrent partnerships, and that, obviously, the more partners you have is something that exacerbates the spread of HIV. I think, certainly in a lot of the communities that I've worked with over in sub-Saharan Africa, I think the people have a much better understanding of the epidemic. Now, whether that actually translates into behavior change, people actually using condoms. People know that condoms are, really effective to prevent the spread of HIV, but a lot of people, they might use a condom 75% of the time, but it's that 25% of the time that they don't. That's when something happens. So, actually translating knowledge into behavior changes is difficult. When you think about smoking, 25% of Americans still smoke, even though we know, lung cancer is still the leading cause of death in the United States amongst all cancers. So even though we know about the harms of smoking, we still smoke. So, and that's smoking. I think when you start talking about sex, it's harder to get people to change their behavior. So it's not easy, but I think a lot has been done. I think the progress is, there has been a lot of progress. Still won't be.
I wonder what percentage of those people that smoke are the ones that are also spreading HIV?
So, other than moving toward Africa, do you have any specific suggestions about, like, if one in San Francisco wants to contribute to the global fight against AIDS, like, where would you donate? What policy initiatives would you support? What can you do from here?
God, I think there are so many different ways to address the HIV epidemic. And really, you need to have all of them. You need to have science. You got to have policy. I think what you should do is really think about the issues that you're interested in. I mean, if you're really interested in HIV education, I think getting involved in Blackstone's got a program to educate high school students. And I think there's a real need for volunteers to go out there and talk to kids. I mean, talking to kids is one of the best things you can do because it's really youth intervention strategies, which are really so key. So, I mean, I think anything that works with youth. But I just talked to somebody this morning. I mean, things like that you wouldn't think about, like food security, like hunger. So, hunger is one of the major, so people who are hungry, who don't have access to food, are much more likely to get HIV, both in San Francisco and over in Africa, because maybe they, engage in, prostitution or something to get money, or they don't take their antiretrovirals. So doing things like working with people who are chronically hungry, in San Francisco, can have great benefit. I think we really just got to find the issue that you're sort of interested in, and if you're interested in women's empowerment, or go and work on gender issues. I just think there's so many different things. But again, education and prevention, it is in some ways underfunded relative to the massive effort in care and treatment. So I think there's this great need to go out there and really talk to people, really work particularly with the youth, so